Hey yo, this is Nick W, and today I felt I had to put in my 2 cents about AEW's All Out pay per view, their final pay per view before their TNT debut. Um, it's been about almost 2 weeks since I bought the pay per view and watched it. Um, so I've had some time to mull it over in my head and think about exactly how I felt about it. So I'm just gonna cut to the chase and I'm gonna get started. I have a list of all the matches so I don't forget any, and there's so many new names I've never heard of that I had to jot down a few of them. 'Cause I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I am one with the independents and that I am one of the so-called smarks and know everything about every small independent wrestler in the world, because I don't. And to be honest with you, I don't really care to. Um, so anyway, the show started off. The pre-show started off with 21 woman casino battle royal, and long story short, it was a shit show. Um, it was first off, the casino battle royal is it's a bad concept to begin with. Everyone picks out of a deck of cards, and same suits come out at the same time every 6 minutes or whatever. I don't know. It's just it's convoluted and it's not necessary. Um, it was actually the battle royal was for the number one contendership for the inaugural women's championship. Um, and just a long story short, I didn't like it. It was sloppy. The production for the first 10 minutes spent so much time outside of the ring, while spots were happening inside the ring. It started driving me nuts. I was like, Jesus, like you've had three shows so far, three pay per views. Like, what are you doing? But um, I know I wasn't alone. I'm sure people at home are like, okay, I would like to see some wrestling, but I'll watch this person laying on the outside of the ring for 30 seconds. Um, but they're trying to push Nyla Rose, this super heavyweight who dresses up like Julia from Tekken, like an Indian woman. Um, it just, I just don't get it. Like, I'm sure she's great in the independent scene, but it's just imagine like Nia Jax wearing like a tank top, uh, or like a workout bra and like a little skirt, like, and the rest of her just hanging out, looking quite unappealing, to have as your possible face of your women's division. She looks out of shape. She can go, but like she's the the matches are so sloppy that you don't really get to see anything. Like people are going half speed. Uh, And then they're just setting things up like they're in a choreographed dance in front of a high school auditorium and they've had 2 weeks to rehearse. It's just really disjointed, as I said in the previous video at AEW. It's not good. And the fact that she won and they're going with her, it's questionable, especially because the highlights were Britt Baker. I thought she was going to win. I like her. I think she has the most potential in the women's division. And then they introduced Tennille Dashwood, my girl Emma from WWE, and that was probably the highlight of my night to see her. And of course, she comes in, gets tossed out like twice, and then eliminated. Um, Made no impact. Got probably the biggest pop of the Chicago crowd. Got the biggest pop from me, and they just tossed her away like garbage, even though she's literally the biggest name that they have in the women's division. So that's just par for the course with AEW. Awesome Kong, I can dig her. She can make an impact, but she came into the ring, and I think she just stood outside the ring for like 10 minutes. And then she got in the ring, did like 2 spots, and then she was eliminated off camera because the production doesn't know what they're doing. The production was showing entrances while Awesome Kong and the return of WWE's Jazz. She got a pop too. But Kong and Jazz got eliminated both off camera while they were showing people walk down. So there's no excuses for the lack of production competency with AEW. And the more I watch it, the more it just feels like whoever was running WCW in 2000 has the controls here because it's just messy. It's a train wreck of a production. You can't even get your spots on camera when people are spending $50, $60 and hundreds of dollars to see it live. But anyway, moving on. Anyway, Nyla Rose won, and I was like, oh, okay. And the crowd was like, okay. Whoop-de-doo. And then the pre-show ended with Private Party, which is pretty much a different version of the Street Profits. And a team, Angelico and Jack Evans, which I like. My wife likes them too. I think they have potential. It's kind of like it's like if Enzo and Cass were capable of 205 flippity flops all over the place. I like them. They got attitude. They've lost all their appearances on AEW pay-per-views, and then they did a heel turn at the end, and it was whatever, but the crowd enjoyed the heel turn, and well, at least AEW has at least one heel tag team. I guess you need at least one. But it was an okay match. It was pretty much a main event at a independent show kind of match. And then the show starts, and SoCal comes out against Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. Now, I'm going to do these real quick. The match was okay. It was what it was. Luchasaurus blew the roof off of the arena, and it was my second biggest pop of the night was his hot tag. He comes in, and 6'8" of him doing moves just with his legs and his karate kicks all over the place. Clean house convincingly. It was beautiful. The place is going nuts. I was going nuts. It's the biggest highlight I've seen. The biggest talked about sequence I've seen about this show in the last 2 weeks. Jungle Boy was okay. And then of course he clears house. Everybody's on their feet like, oh my God, this guy's gonna be the next big thing. And goes for the pin, and there's a kick out, and then a minute later they lose. And SoCal and the old guys take it, bury the new guys that are over. So I wasn't surprised, but at least I wasn't alone, because a lot of people are like, what the hell? Just especially at a pop like that, you got to make that audible and be like, give them the call. Anyway, moving on. Pac versus Omega. I kept saying Pac. I don't know if it's Pac. I thought it was Pac. I've been calling him Pac for a decade. So if it's Pac or Pac, who gives a damn? I'm calling him Pac. He comes to replace the injured Johnny Moxley. And this was the best match of the night for me. I love Neville or Pac. And Kenny Omega is... oh my gosh. I'm not sold on him, okay? I don't sit around and watch New Japan Wrestling in my spare time. So I can't tell you whether or not he's the greatest wrestler since Shawn Michaels or Ric Flair or not. What I've seen of him is he does a lot of moves over and over and over again. Doesn't really have very good psychology. Has a hard time really selling, and his matches go on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And he points a lot. Jim Cornette pointed that out to me. That he points before he does every move. So whatever. But the best part about this match was the finish because Pac gets him into a standing crucifix and makes him tap. It was beautiful. And the Kenny Omega loyalists were shocked around the world, and I'm happy because, frankly, I guess if you don't watch New Japan Wrestling on a daily basis for the last 3 years, you could give a lesser shit about who the hell Kenny Omega is. Oh, he's on the cover of a video game. Oh my gosh, sweet, I love him. That's not how it works. He's very, very athletic. I give him that. Him and Pac are a great matchup. It was a good match. But, in context, okay, I've seen maybe 6 of Omega's matches, and for a combined length of like 2 hours. So, anyway, let finishes be finishes. Let AEW, you need to just shorten your shows, shorten your matches. But I digress. Good for Pac to come in and silence all the quote-unquote smarks of Kenny Omega. All the people that want to have a good old time with pretending wrestling is just a big joke. Then let's go. These are going to be real quick. Then it was the go to the bathroom, get a snack segment of the pay-per-view. 2 matches that were just god-awful. It's funny because this one, I was looking around the internet, like Wrestling with Regret. He gave this one, I think, like 3 out of 4 or something. And I'm just sitting there like, dude, I respect you of your knowledge of wrestling, and I think you have decent taste because we came up together, like the same generation together. But you giving Jimmy Havoc, Darby Allin, and Joey Janela in a hardcore match, you give that 3 out of 4 stars on an AEW $60 pay-per-view when they're trying to get fans to watch long-term. That's crazy because this match was, again, it was a shit show. It was Jimmy Havoc is an anorexic, weird-looking British guy, goth man, who staples himself. Darby Allin is just some dude that I've never heard of. And Joey Janela, he's the self-proclaimed, I never went to wrestling school, so I'm awesome. I'll do crazy shit just to be different. So, this match went on and on and on, and then they tied up Jimmy Havoc to a chair and put tacks in his mouth and taped his mouth shut. And it was like, can you believe it? Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do to get over with fans. I believe it because, frankly, I am not impressed with any of these 3 and how they get a hardcore match in the middle of a pay-per-view is just it's insane. If this is what you're gonna do, AEW, I mean, if this is gonna be half your time, then you can count me out because hardcore matches are just they're not necessary. And if you're gonna be, they don't even pretend anymore. They talk about we're a real sports company and we're gonna take this serious. That's all out the window. I don't know if anyone out there has noticed, but that is all out the window. I haven't heard them talk about being a legitimate sports company or wrestling company in like 3 months since Double or Nothing. And the more that we get to this shit, where people are stapling each other and throwing tacks in each other's mouth and put tacks on the bottom of skateboards and then do a skateboard move off the top rope and pin the skateboard on the back of somebody, it's like, what the hell, man? Like, this is Bush League. You know what I mean? This match is Bush League. It was Bush League. I tuned out. My wife tuned out. This match sucked. That's the bottom line. Shouldn't have been on the pay-per-view. And then it gets worse because the next match is the shitty tag team, the Dark Order, okay? Which I guess it used to be called the Super Smash Brothers. It's this 400-pound overweight dude. Looks like he just got picked up from the local bar. They put a mask on him and put the 2 small tights on him and said, go out there and be scary, okay? And then his partner, who can kind of wrestle but still is like Um, oh, geez. He's just, he's a anorexic, skinny, tall, pale dude. Like, and then they were going against the best friends, who I don't even give a damn about. The fans were all over it, but I mean, give me a break. Like, who gives a damn? These two guys hug each other. Yay! Oh my gosh, they're best friends. This section over here in the stadium, uh, they watch a lot of independent wrestling, and man, they love them. So I guess I should love them because they hug each other. And no, that's not how it works. And then this Dark Order has a whole bunch of little minions running around, and let's not even get into that because these little minions are sitting there at ringside on a knee, and whenever somebody got tossed over the rope, they went over and started doing this. Ooh, I thought I was watching Twin Peaks: The Return. Ooh, whenever Mr. C dies, like the woodsmen come out and just go, ooh, ooh, ooh. That's what I felt like. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was horrible. I mean, it's an insult to my intelligence that I'm giving money. I told my wife, this is it. This is the end of us paying money for AEW. We'll watch it on TNT, maybe, because I'm sure NXT is probably going to take up my time now. It's a Wednesday Night War. I don't even think it's close as far as who's going to win that. The more I see of this garbage, I just think, like, this is not. I went to a house show in a podunk town about 4 miles away from where I live to see Bruce Pritchard and Conrad, okay? But they had a wrestling show open up for it, okay? And it was decent. It was a decent independent show. But the decent independent show is not what I'm looking for AEW. And Jimmy Havoc, Darby Allin, Joey Janela, Dark Order, and Best Friends, that is Bush League independent garbage that I cannot believe is getting national coverage or exposure, okay? That's just the bottom line. Next, we have the second half of the winner is the second half of the women's inaugural championship match. Riho versus Hikaru Shida. Okay. First off, Riho, I saw her at Fight for the Fallen, and she's like 60 pounds. She's like an Asian 60-pound girl. Think my 13-year-old daughter weighs more than she does, but anyway, she wins. I could buy it if she actually like threw heavy fists or made heavy contact or something that was intense, but it was slow motion, blah blah blah, slow motion garbage. Of course she wins. The other girl, I mean, she looked like she had potential, but whatever. I'm just gonna speed through here. Next was Cody with MJF versus Sean Spears with Tully Blanchard. Okay, this is the second best match of the night. It was actually some decent wrestling. Good story. Spears hit Cody over the head with a chair, so he wants his revenge. But, of course, in AEW style, or should I say, this is eerily close to WCW dying days. Cody comes out. He just got his head split open. For a month, he's stewing about it, right? Spears goes with Tully Blanchard, okay, who used to be Dusty Rhodes' enemy, just as an FU to Cody. So Cody's like angry, right? So what do you do when you're angry and you have a grudge match in the main event of your pay-per-view? How do you present yourself? Well, you come out with your fists taped up, you know what I mean? Your wife beater and your jeans, you come out, you want to kick somebody's ass with a chair, right? No, not in AEW. Sean Spears comes out as like, he has contacts in his eyes like he's some crazy bastard. And he takes a sweet time coming to the ring. Perfect heel entrance for his first match. Beautiful. But how does Cody come out for his revenge? He comes out with a Captain Picard uniform on. And then pulls DDP over as his number one, as Commander Riker. And then he has 7 of 9 as Brandy. Is 7 of 9. Then they got their dog there, and then everyone knows about the pyro fiasco with the dog. They're sitting there while Cody comes out and is posing for the camera. They're sitting there in camera view in the tunnel, and mortars go off all around Cody, and the dog shits his pants, shits himself, and live on pay-per-view, and then Brandy's pulling him out so that they can have that camera shot at the top of the ramp. All the while, the dog's pissing himself and shitting himself, and Cody's trying to get it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I swear to God, all you AEW fans out there that are giving me 20 minutes of your time that are seeing this, you have to honestly question if you were alive during the Monday Night Wars and you saw the death of WCW. This is exactly the kind of quality and content that WCW was in 2000, 99, 2000, 2001. I mean, it's a disgrace. It's one botch after another botch. It's scaring the piss out of your pet dog coming to a grudge match with the fucking Star Trek uniform on. Okay? So, whatever. So, the match itself was okay. I liked it. I like Cody. I like Spears. Tully Blanchard got involved. I appreciate that. And then the highlight was Arn Anderson coming to the aid of Cody and doing a spine buster to Tully. That was sweet. I popped for that. That was good stuff. If the night would have ended there, it would have ended on a high note. But then the next match we have the Lucha Brothers versus Young Bucks. Okay? Lucha Brothers, I like them. Okay? Both teams are very talented. Both teams are high spot artists. Okay? So this match is probably like 30 minutes long. 30 minutes of a highlight reel. Was this a 30-minute highlight reel? Yes. Was this anywhere close to a good match? No. To quote Jim Cornette, I don't need to see any of these guys taking a Canadian destroyer off the top of a ladder through 2 tables and then pop back up a minute later and do 16 more spots. Okay, that's the problem with the Young Bucks I've had forever. They don't know how to sell. And that's kind of half of the reason wrestling is what it is you have to be able to sell. And they don't sell. They're high spot junkies. They don't respect. I honestly don't think they respect the business. I think they got their money. They found that niche audience with the smarks that sit around and watch Kenny Omega Japanese matches. Bucks jump on the Young Bucks. Okay, so they got their fans, their fan base. Okay. I think that, honestly, at this point, I think the Young Bucks are just a couple dudes that got their money and shockingly got their money. And now they're just, I don't know. I think that they take a big crap on the wrestling business. I think they don't take it seriously at all. I mean, they're in the back after every pay-per-view just talking about, oh, yeah, like, just using... they're just pretty much saying, hey, it's just a big joke. Come on, guys. Like, why are you guys so serious? I'm like, dude, get out. You know what I mean? Like, and they're executive vice presidents to this company. So you got Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks calling the shots. And they don't even give a damn about wrestling. I think it's a big joke. You know what I mean? They want to be wrestling blow-up dolls and 12-year-old girls and taking high spots 50 times a night. Okay, without selling. That's what they do. That's what they bring to wrestling to me. They haven't proven anything. Lucha Brothers are okay because at least they look menacing, and they could be great heels, even though they're not. Because this company really only has 2 heels. They have Sean Spears, and then they have Angelico and Jack Evans. So 3 out of 70 isn't bad. 3 heels out of 70, I guess that's okay. And of course Jericho, which is the next match. So anyways, the Young Bucks match was a disgrace. I mean, Jesus Christ. I guess no one told them that jumping off ladders 35 times a night really just doesn't do it for most wrestling fans anymore. So anyway, Jericho versus Hangman Page for the AEW Championship. The crowd was asleep. I was falling asleep. My wife was falling asleep. Yeah, everybody was falling asleep after watching the Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks destroy 75 tables in the course of a half hour. Um, Jericho, Hangman Page, it was a good showcase though because he actually, I didn't know much about him in the last few months, but I could see him being a contender after seeing what he did with Jericho. He sold me that he's a quality wrestler he knows how to sell, he knows how to have good offense. Did a pretty good psychological match, and yeah, and he seems like he takes the business seriously. So, but Jericho takes it, and I was happy. Around the internet, they're like, "Why are you going to give a 50-year-old man the belt?" I'm like, "Well, because he sells tickets, maybe, and he's been around for a long time, successfully for a very, very long time, maybe." And he's selling gold records on the side in the rock and roll business. So I don't know. I don't know why they give it to him. But I was happy about it. And then the belt got stolen and blah, blah, blah. It just feels like AEW snake bitten at this point to me. All in all, I give the show like an okay. I just got done watching Clash of Champions. And I was sitting there, I was like, damn, the first hour of Clash of Champions, I was like, they just got that through 5 title matches in less than an hour. And it brought me back to AEW. And I was thinking, holy crap, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 matches. It took them 5 hours for 10 matches. So, anyways, AEW needs to get their shit together. I think it's Bush League. It scares me that Cody doesn't even have control of what's good and what's bad. Seems like there's a lot more bad than good. I'm not excited for them in TNT. If I want to go see a house show, I'll go downtown to my local armory. Okay. I don't think at this rate, I don't think that AEW is going to last more than a few years. I'd like to be proven wrong, but if anyone has spent the last 27 minutes watching this video and agrees with anything I say, please let me know in the comments whether you agree or disagree. And it was great getting that off my chest because all in all, I feel like I spent about $120 on AEW this summer. And I feel like I wasted my money. So anyway, thank you for watching and peace.